Hey guys, this is Pharaoh 2091 and welcome back to Let's Play 999. Last time we left off, we opened the coffin, which did not contain Alice, but it did contain the Neptune key and the fourth crest we needed to do this puzzle, which ended up being we had to put in these certain amount of balls in these areas to get the digital root of it. And it wasn't that bad until in the end, I'm like, what the hell, I don't have enough balls to do both areas. But it seemed like it was a trick. I just needed to do only one area. So, the game tricked me like that. And once we did that, the desk opened and there was a picture right here. And I guess we're going to find out what's in the picture. And the drawer was a single picture. He picked it up. It was a photograph of 4 men. And involuntarily, Junpei's eyes shot up. He'd seen 3 of them before. On the right was a man with a mustache, the same man they found murdered in the captain's quarters. He'd been wearing the zero bracelet when they found him. Second from the left was a man wearing glasses and a doctor's coat. He was the 9th man, the one who wore bracelet number 9. He had gone to door 5 alone and met an unpleasant end. Finally, the man on the very left, the man in a pinstripe suit. Oh man, that's Ace. Yeah, I guess it is. No doubt about it. Seven and Clover have come to peer over Junpei's shoulders. But what did it mean? What was Ace doing in the picture? Perhaps more importantly, why were the 9th man and Cap in it as well? As Junpei looked closer, he noticed the expression on each man's face. Their miles suggested that they were close, at least to some degree. But why and how? What was the relationship between these 4 men? Snake's voice broke in Junpei's thoughts. You say Ace is in that picture? Yeah. It doesn't look like it was taken recently, though. Ace, the 9th man, and Cap all look about 10 years younger. Ah, so the 9th man and the man you found murdered in the captain's quarters are also on the picture. Yeah. Is there anyone else? Or are there only 3 people in the picture? I'm afraid I can't see it. No, there's one more guy. He's got kind of long hair. He looks kind of smart, but a little cold. He's the only one I don't recognize. Snake knit his eyebrows. What's the date of the photograph? It doesn't have one. Did you look at the back? The back? Yes, the reverse. The other side. Junpei flipped the picture over. There it was. To be precise, it wasn't a date, but it was certainly significant. He read it out loud so Snake could not be left in the dark. Praying for the success of the notary project. With Nijisaki, Kabuta, and Mushihido, whatever. Notary project. Nijisaki, Kabuta, the other guy. Junpei immediately flipped the picture back over. That meant that the 4 men in this picture had run the notary game 9 years ago. Only Hungao had not been mentioned in the back, which Junpei felt meant that he had written those words himself. But what surprised Junpei was not his revelation, but the fact that it felt nothing like a revelation at all. It felt obvious that their true identity did not come as a surprise. Was what Junpei found most surprising. Why then? Why wasn't he surprised? Junpei had discovered that Ace had run a notary project, but he felt no spark of excitement or surprise. Nothing. It was almost as if he had already known. That's because we did. Ah, of course. I understand now. Junpei looked over at Snake. In his own confusion, he had missed a dark look at the man's face. Ace was the CEO of Cradle Pharmaceutical. He was the one who invented the game 9 years ago. He was Guntaro Hungao. Ace is Hungao? Even as he asked, Junpei felt as though he's already known. It was as if someone had whispered into his head that yes, of course Ace was Hungao. I had my suspicions from the beginning. Their voices were familiar. Too familiar to be a coincidence. I could never forget his voice. It was the voice of the devil. I couldn't be sure though. After all, I had no way to check. I certainly couldn't ask him. Even if I had known, however, I would have never have told you. Zero made it quite clear that what would have happened if I did. Oh my gosh, I had no idea. Huh? I didn't know that Ace was Hungao. Oh, yes, I suppose you wouldn't have. 9 years ago, you were in Building Q in Nevada. But Hungao was in a gigantic with us. I know. That's why I didn't know what Hungao looked like. But why? Why didn't you tell me? I mean, I'm your sister, right? You could have told me. I'm sorry. I apologize for keeping this from you. But if I told you, Clover, you would have told everyone else. And if you did that, then I would have been forced to tell them about what happened 9 years ago. I had to prevent that. Clover instincts the conversation wasn't of particular interest to Junpei. He still couldn't make sense of his strange feelings of knowledge. He was trying to organize his thoughts when he heard Seven's voice. Hey Junpei, do you think I could borrow that picture for a sec? He had no reason to say no, so Junpei handed the picture over. Seven stared at the picture and began to mutter 4 names of the project's leaders over and over to himself. Hungao, Kabuta, Nijisaki, Musashido. His brow was furrowed and his face was flushed. Hungao, Kabuta, Nijisaki, and Musashido. I can never say that last. I don't even know if I'm saying any of their names right. He chanted their names to himself, pacing back and forth across the floor. Hungao, Kabuta, Nijisaki, that word. Seven should have known their names. After all, he hadn't been there when Junpei and Stank had spoken to them in the library. But as Junpei watched him pace, it was clear that he did know them. Hey, Seven, do you... Shut it! Just be quiet! His eyes were red, and Junpei could see sweat beginning to bead from his forehead. I'm this close to remembering! This close! He was sweating heavily now, but his lips were dry. Hungao, Kabuta, Nijisaki, Musashido, Cradle Pharmaceutical, Notary Project. Then he stopped. Seven set down the picture and looked at a red light near his feet. His eyes narrowed. And suddenly his eyes went wide and he shot up straight. Shit! What? What's wrong? Holy shit. This is nuts. What's nuts? I remember. Remember what? Everything. Everything? Yeah. Yeah! I remember all of it! My memory's back! I remember what happened before I got snatched! That's good! Why play scary music? Seven's voice was filled with excitement. Shock and excitement had frozen Junpei in his place along with Snake and Clover. Let me tell you what happened. Seven hastily drew his shaking hand across his mouth and began to speak. Like Snake said, Ace is Hungao. From the right, the other 3 are Musashido, Nijisaki, and Kabuta. Musashido was the man with the cash. Nijisaki was Hungao's right-hand man, and Kabuta developed the actual technical details of the experiments. Realization began to draw on Junpei, along with a pressing question. How do you know all this? Come on, man, I told you, I finally got my memory back! No, that's not what I mean. I'm trying to ask you why you knew all this stuff in the first place, before you forgot it. Seven rubbed the scar on his chin. You really want to know? Of course. Last time I asked that question, I got stabbed in the back. I got axed in the back, so... Me too! Snake was the only one who didn't voice any sort of agreement. It looked at Junpei as if he was simply waiting to see what Seven's sudden recovery might take them. That's gonna take a while. Hell, it'll probably take me a good 3 days to tell you everything. Well, we don't have 3 days. Just give us a short version, alright? Short version, huh? The big man pulled off his hat and scratched his head. He made a face and put his hat back on. Alright, fine. I'll give it a shot. No promises, though. Junpei and Clover nodded earnestly. Seven was a lone wolf detective who valued his own code over the rules, doing what was right, doing what was right over doing what you were told. Blah. So he had morals. That was why on that fateful day, he'd gone off his gut and gone to the wharf at night on a slim lead. It was 9 years ago. The wharf had been dark and cold and foreboding. At the time, he'd been investigating a spat of kidnappings, all of them children. They'd all had one thing in common, a history of visits to one particular hospital. The hospital had been under the management of Cradle Pharmaceutical, and Seven's investigation had turned up evidence that Cradle had been involved in the kidnappings. After a little persuasion, he managed to finally get a real lead from someone inside Cradle Pharmaceutical. He told him that that night the ship was set out to take the children from where they were being held to a large passenger liner docked offshore. Seven had, of course, gone to the wharf. Hidden in the shadows, he searched the harbor until at last he found the ship he was looking for. There were a number of human shapes moving near the ship. There were men in black suits. Many of them were carrying large bags. The bags. There was something about the way they moved as they were carried. There could be no mistake. There were human beings in those bags. He had moved before he even realized he was going to. Out of the shadows he came, his gun ready in his hand. He heard the words, "Don't move," but they weren't his. He felt metal touch the back of his head. "Drop your gun," came the cold voice from behind him. "I can kill you right now. It would mean nothing at all. I need only tie an anchor to your feet and doubt anyone will see you for perhaps a week or so. Is that what you like? The fisher will be thankful for the meal." With the words, he felt the cold metal thing behind him press against his skull. Slowly, Seven crouched down and laid his gun on the ground. And suddenly, he felt a sharp pain in his neck. A needle. Was it some sort of drug? As he was thinking about that, Seven felt his fist hit the cold concrete beneath him. He could feel the chill of it seeping into him. Ugh, damn it! Shit, my head hurts. Seven woke to find himself lying on a hard floor. He twisted his neck to peer around the room. Where am I? There were a small, shabby bed and a dirty sink. A toilet with no stall or privacy of any sort. As a cop, it was a place Seven had seen all too often. Now, I'm pretty sure we've seen this story from the very first ending that we got, where everyone died. We did find out that he was in this liner before, apparently. And what should happen, the story stopped when he got out of that vent. So I don't think I'm gonna read any of this, because obviously we did see this before. You guys maybe was saying, "Oh, come on, Pharaoh, read it." Well, I did read it already. That's if you guys watched the LP to its entirety. But hey. So essentially, what happens here is he was drugged and put into the cell, which is where door number 2 is. And he was trying to find a way out, but he kept hearing voices like that. He couldn't find it, but eventually he does, because it's through a vent. I guess I can just start talking a little bit about what's been going on so far. I mean, I have a couple of ideas of what may happen, but I'm a little afraid of the whole thing about Snake saying that the girl who died her name was Akane. And, of course, I guess it's not an uncommon name, so, it could be anyone, but something just doesn't feel right with Junpei about it, and he's hoping that it's not the same Akane he grew up with. So, I don't know. But it's making me think, if... I don't know. Because now I am thinking back, because let's think about who was involved in this thing. It apparently was 18 children, all siblings. We know that there were twins, being Lotus's daughters. We have Clover and Snake. And we have Santa and his sister. So that's official. That's 6 out of the 18, apparently. So I don't know. I really would find out more about what happened 9 years ago. Maybe we'll figure it out. Who knows? And God, his face is odd. I said it before, but jeez. So he's gonna crawl through. The first section of the duct was small. Seven could do a little more than wiggle along on his belly. After a time, however, he got a little larger, and even someone as large as Seven was able to crawl along his hands. He felt like an inchworm, not much of an improvement. He began to wonder where the duct would take him when there was a thunderous sound, like a massive metal door slamming shut. I'm pretty sure this is all kind of new, so let me see. Then he heard a voice. "Warning! Warning! The emergency incineration command has been acknowledged. Automatic incineration will take place in 18 minutes. Please evacuate the incinerator immediately. Repeat, emergency incineration command has been acknowledged. The voice wasn't harsh, but something about that calm with it made it even more terrifying. Seven wasn't sure what it meant, but incinerator certainly didn't sound good. And we all know what happened to the incinerator in the last playthrough. Then, almost as if confirming suspicions, here a chorus of young voices. No! Help me! Many of the voices were simply screaming in terror, mixing one another to create a single horrifying howl. Damn it! What the hell's going on here? Seven began to crawl along the duct as fast as his arms and legs could carry him. The noise he made was tremendous, but he was long past carrying. A few moments later, a metal door appeared on the left side of the duct. Seven could hear the screams of the children from the other side of it. There it was! He grabbed hold of the handle and threw the door open. The old metal gave way easily before his onslaught. What the hell is this place? And this is where his memory stopped in the very first playthrough that we did. The room that I was looking at had a dome for a ceiling and 9 equally sized walls. He was in a damn incinerator. At the top of the dome was an upside down funnel. It looked almost like a chimney. Then he looked down. Kids! And he looked down and there they were. Children that he'd been looking for. They stared up at Seven, their cries silenced for the moment by surprise and fear. Whether they were scared of the room or him, Seven couldn't tell. It was certainly possible they were frightened of both. Not that I would blame him running into a mug like this when they're already scared shitless. He permitted himself a short snort of laugh and turned to the children again. Don't worry, kids. I'm not your enemy. I'm one of the good guys. Not a single one of them moved. Except for one. He was a boy, slightly older than the others, in a private school uniform. He looks suspiciously well, we all know, we're pretty sure we all know who this is. Who the hell are you? As he spoke, he took a tentative step forward and gave Seven a suspicious look. I'm a detective. I'm here to rescue you. The moment the words were out of the mouth, he could see the children relax. How are you going to help us? The boy in uniform asked. Where's the exit? Seven responded. There isn't one. The doors we came in through won't open. The door over there... He cut himself off, considered something, and then continued. Anyway, there's no point. We can't all get out of here. Is that F or a T? Off of here? Oh, whatever. If we don't get out of here, we're gonna be burned to death. Ugh. Burned to death. Can't you hear it? That voice said. That voice said the incinerator is gonna start up soon. Yeah, that's not good. The voice spoke again. Automatic incineration will begin in 15 minutes. 15 minutes. They only had 15 minutes. Seven looked back down at the children. It was a good 20 or 30 feet to the floor. There was no way he could pull the children up. That was when he had an idea. Wait right there. I'm going to be right back. What? Where's he going? Are you just going to leave us here? Seven did his best to smile what he felt was a reassuring smile. Don't worry, alright? I'll be back, I promise. So just stay calm and wait there. Got it? He didn't want to hear them respond. He didn't wait to hear them respond. There wasn't time. He ran as fast as a man could run on his hands and knees. Before long, he was back in his cell. He was back where he just started, but he had a plan. There was something that he needed. As soon as he was finished, he dove back into the duct and took off toward the incinerator. Sorry to keep you waiting, guys. Leaning out the door in that duct, Seven lowered a rope he brought to the floor of the incinerator. Back in the cell, he tore the bed sheets into strips and tied them together to make a rope. Like Seven himself, it wasn't very attractive, but it got the job done. Alright, just tie that around yourself, okay? I'll pull you up one at a time. Right. Huh? Wait a sec. That was when he noticed. There was more of you before. Where'd the rest of you go? The boy in uniform answered. I let them go on ahead. We opened the number 9 door and they left. What? You're telling me you opened that door? That's what I said. Then what the hell are you doing here? We couldn't go through with them. Why not? Look, the only people who can go through the numbered door... Man, okay. So that I guess they couldn't open it because the numbers didn't couldn't work. Automatic incineration will take place in 5 minutes. The voice reverberated against the walls of the room. Look, that can wait, alright? Just get us out of here. Right. Someone grabbed hold of the rope. First up was a girl with a ponytail. Next was a girl with a red necktie, followed by a boy in a jacket who said he'd climb up on his own. The last up was the boy in the uniform. Like the boy in the jacket, he climbed up the rope himself. He looked scrawny from above, but his looks bellied impressive strength. Belayed, whatever. He scaled the rope quickly, but as he's almost to 7, they heard the sound of someone knocking. All eyes turned to the door. Cut into it was a thick square window. On the other side, they could see a furious face. Damn it! What's going on here? Why is the room empty? Where the hell are those fucking kids? My god, that is very creepy. Who is that? The door opened and a man stepped in, looking half mad with fury. Seven recognized his face. He'd seen him many times in photos during the investigation. The man's name was Gentaro Hungao. Oh god, of course. The CEO of Cradle Pharmaceutical. Hungao saw the boy hanging from the rope. He's getting mad. He roared like an animal and lunged for the rope. Hurry! I know! The boy in uniform resumed to scramble up the rope. You son of a bitch! Get back here, you little shit! Man, I'm gonna punch Ace. Well, if I could. He was 15 feet away. 10. The moment he came with the arm's reach, Seven grabbed the boy in uniform. With a jerk, he tossed him to the duct behind him. Ah! No! Hungao had lost any semblance of control. His face no longer looked human. It was twisted into something terrifying. The visage of the devil or a ferocious monster. Seven quickly reeled in his rope, leaving a furious Hungao on the floor of the room, and crawled back into the duct. You fucking bastard! You won't get away with this! How dare you compromise this experiment! What experiment, Seven wondered. Man, automatic incineration will take place in 1 minute. Hey, old man, what the hell are you doing? Hurry up! It was a boy in a uniform. Seven tossed Hungao a taunting salute and pulled the door closed. There was no point going back to Seven's cell, so they continued down to the duct and went the other direction. After 30 feet or so, another duct met theirs, heading down. They nodded one another and turned and slid down the duct. A short time later, they crawled out of the duct to find themselves in a narrow hallway. There was a door on each side of it. The one on the left was a normal double door, but the one on the right was a familiar thick metal door with black and yellow stripes and a device next to it on the wall. And the door was a plate that read Incinerator. Then, that's where we were? Yeah. Hungao might still be in there. It looks like it's been shut off, though. Wait, what? If he's still in there... Yeah, it's not good. Ugh. Seven grunted. Fine, the other door. Go into the other door. Hurry! The children began to run, with Seven following close behind them. On the other side of the door was a large spiral staircase. Run! Seven shouted. They didn't need to be told twice. Up and up and up they went. Their feet pounded against the steps, and their arms churned in the air. Round and round and round they went, like a human tornado. The stairway kept going. They passed a couple of rooms that looked like dance halls when the boy in the uniform spoke. Something's up. Akane's not catching up with us. Akane? My kid's sister. I figured. The girl with the red necktie. Akane. That was strange. Seven didn't remember seeing that name in the list of children who'd gone missing. Hey! Akane! He cupped his hands over his mouth and yelled. There was no response. Maybe we outran her. Suddenly the boy in the uniform stopped short. Seven stopped too, as did a boy in a jacket and a pointy-tailed girl. When did we do that? Well, we passed a couple big rooms on the way here. Maybe she took a rest at one of them. No, it's impossible! Sorry, Grandpa, you keep going. I gotta go look for her downstairs. He turned to go. Hey! Kid, wait! Damn it, I said wait! The boy didn't even seem to hear him. Fuck! Seven spun around and yelled to the boy in the jacket and the girl with the ponytail. I'm going after him. You two keep going, alright? You got it? The girl nodded and began to run up the stairs. The boy, however, I'm going with you. Seven didn't have time to argue. Instead, he simply nodded and took off down the stairs. The boy in jacket followed. They ran all the way to the bottom floor, calling for her. Akane was nowhere to be found. Damn it, where the hell did she go? The boy in uniform couldn't hide his frustration. Help me! Somebody help me! It was a girl's voice. Akane! The boy in uniform threw open the door and leapt into the hallway that faced the incinerator. Seven, the boy in jacket, followed. Seven couldn't believe what he saw. And what was it that he saw? This makes a perfect cliffhanger. So, we'll find out in the next episode, guys. So, as usual, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time for Let's Play 999. I'll see you guys later.